Hello YouTube friends, this is Steam and Oil Tim. I decided to try to keep it short, make a little video here to show some of the people that's just wanting to start playing with toy steam engines. A few things that I didn't know when I started, kind of had to learn on my own, do a little search on the internet. Okay, just a couple little tricks. This engine here I painted black. I drilled the rivets out of it pretty carefully. So I could paint it, take the boiler apart, you can clean the boiler good, polish it, put new gaskets on anything you want to do, and I put it back together with just short little screws and nuts. You can find those. I also did the same thing with the base. You can drill the base off. That lets you get to these screws underneath here. You can take this apart, you can put a gasket on it. There's several things you can do. And anytime you want to take it back apart now, it's easy to get apart. The burner here, I bought this from a company called Mini Steam. You can find them on eBay or find them on Amazon too, I think. But anyway, you can do a search and find Mini Steam. They sell a kit. This is the small tank, holds about an ounce, ounce and a half. Short fuel line. The burner, the fuel line, the tank's also separate, or you may be able to find them as a kit. It's not cheap. You'll spend as much as you spend on the engine almost, or probably 2/3 anyway. But this will work on a lot of engines, small engines, just a small burner. You have to fill your tank up probably after every run. This just fits in here. And that'll run that boiler load for probably 10, maybe 15, possibly even 20 minutes. That's a lot better in my opinion than the pellets. They don't smell good, they're kind of expensive, and I just prefer using a butane gas. You can buy it, Jetboil is what I've been using. It's butane propane mix. That works real good. I think I told you these are just pipe cleaners here for the scale insulation. That's easy, cheap, and looks pretty good. Looks like insulation. Okay, you'll need a few tools. This small screwdriver here works pretty good on a lot of this stuff. A lot of these small screws, your rod, several things you can do. These screws shouldn't be too tight, and that screwdriver right there will take you a long way. It's just a little pocket clip screwdriver. For cleaning them, there's Q-tips, getting some tight spots. I like a popsicle stick. You can wrap a rag around it, get it up in some spots that are even harder to get to. Keeping them clean is a good idea because they do get greasy and oily. I like to blow them off with an air hose. If you got an air compressor or some way to blow them off a little bit, wipe them off a little bit, and try to keep them on a shelf in your house or in a heated room or something in pretty stable conditions, because they will pick up rust. And it's really sad to see one's been neglected and just nothing but rust. Here's another engine, the exact same engine. I've got it sitting on screwed down to a board. Now this one I have not had off of the base, had no reason to. And it's also kind of a little collectible engine because there's not too many of those. That's the only one, the Signature Junior, that I've seen. I haven't asked Jensen Company about those when they were made. But these are both pretty old because they've got the small handles. These little small handles are an indicator probably in the 70s, maybe no later than the early 80s they were made. A lot of them around, and they're not very expensive, and they're nice little engines. They run really good. There's the gas tank. I've got it sort of permanently mounted on this one because I've got kind of a permanent setup here. I've got this water pump screwed to the base. I've done the same thing over here. This is a bigger engine, a Jensen 75. And I've got the base of that engine. I had to drill these holes for the screws, but I mounted these tools and the engine base to this board. And there's a bigger tank. That's a nice size tank, and it's also got standards there that you can put screws through to screw the tank itself down, so none of this stuff will fall apart whenever you move it, put it on the shelf, carry it around. And that's a bigger engine with a bigger burner. That burner is probably twice the size of this little thing. It's this little burner here is maybe 2 inches long. I think the bigger burner over here is probably about 5 inches long that you need for a bigger engine, thus the little bit bigger gas tank. One thing here that's interesting for, I don't know, more than just beginners, but what I've discovered on this Ertl pump, and Ertl makes a nice looking little corn sheller too, that are kind of designed to be sort of belt driven like in the old days, like the real items were. There's some of our steam friends that will take this pulley off here and machine a groove into it, and helps the belt ride on the pulley so you can run it with your little steam engine. I've discovered that if you take your time and some patience, and you mount your engine first, then mount your pump or your sheller, and take time and align it very carefully. Actually, this pulley right here on the engine will hold it on the water pump pulley. It'll walk back and forth a little bit, but I've run the engine slow, I've run it fast, I've run it for several hours total, and it runs good. So if you can find the toy, you don't have to have the groove machined. You just be patient enough. You probably do need to mount it solid with screws or something, because if it moves not much, it will derail the belt. But mount it on there like that. I've had a lot of good luck with these. So that's a couple of things I was wanting to mention. One of them was set your engine up to run on gas if you can. It'll probably save you money in the end. It'll definitely smell a lot better. The fumes don't bother you. You can probably run it in the house, probably run it in your bedroom, living room, wherever you like to fool with stuff, kitchen. I've got a shop, that's where I do most of my running. You don't get much fumes, that fuel is pretty clean. Let's see. Now, another thing I want to be sure and show you. Something else you can do. This will save you a ton of money. Okay, all this is Coleman fuel, camping fuel. And you can buy that cylinder right there for, I don't know what they are, they might be $7, $8 at camping supply stores. This fitting here, you'll have to look to find it, but you can find it on eBay or Mini Steam. May be where I got that one. You have to have both of these. This one fits the tank. The tank's got a big screw on where it screws onto the attachment it's supposed to go onto. And then this is a separate adapter. This will take your steam line fitting right there. The fitting off your little copper line in your burner will screw right onto that. So then you've got, of course, you have to have a longer gas line, and you could go with a big burner, and that tank right there will run your steam engine for a long time. You probably have a hard time running that tank out in a year of fooling with the thing as much time as you have to fool with it. A couple of those right there will last you till you're done messing with steam engines. And that's a really cheap way to go there. And I didn't like just the tank itself, so this sleeve that I made, well, found for it. I'm not sure what this is. It's not a sock. It's, I don't know, it's like off a sweater sleeve or something. I just cut that to fit over the tank, and then just maybe some stickers and put on it to make it look kind of cool. Danger, high pressure gas. Hides the tank, makes it look kind of authentic. And well, you can run it for a long time like that. And you could use that setup on any of these. All you have to have is the right burner and a long enough gas line to plumb it into that. And boy, you've got a fuel supply there that'll run for a long time. So that's about it. The last thing I want to show you is, it's hard to pick out a favorite, but this little thing right here, I got this brand new unfired. It's a Jensen 60, and I've taken it apart and painted it. These little engines are cheap. I think I got this one for $50, never had been fired. You can find them for about that if you look long enough. The good thing about these is they take the small burner. They take the small burner really well, and a small tank will run the entire boiler full on that engine. And it's a good engine. It heats up fast. It runs really good. It's got a pulley over here, right there. So it'll run a single toy. You can run the little hacksaw. It'll run the water pump jack. It'll run the press. You know, it'll run any single little toy that you want to put on it. I put it on a small board, makes it easier to pack around, screw it down on there. There's almost nothing to it, and it's easy to clean. You can just give it a swipe, blow it off, and man, it is easy and a cheap setup all the way around. I've got a couple of videos on my YouTube channel of this thing running. I like it for that reason. If you've only got 15, 20 minutes, this is one that's easy to whip out. Heat up a little water, put some water in it, fire the burner, and run it. And it's just a fun little piece. And it'll run like I said, one of your toys, hacksaw, something like that, easy. So that's a few tips there that I used when I started. And you can actually do the hobby pretty cheap. You know, if you'll do some eBay shopping, you can pick up an engine pretty cheap. You can get you a couple of the toys pretty cheap. There's a press. There's a hacksaw. That one there is a little harder to find. I love it. There's another hacksaw. And you can have a lot of fun just running your hacksaw with that little engine right there. And that little small burner setup. And if that don't get you hooked, you're not going to get hooked on steam engines. So thanks for watching my lengthy video. Hope you enjoyed it. This is Steam and Old Tim, and I'll see you later.